Hi everyone, happy Friday. Here's some of what's heading your way tonight to your news at 9.
The Ottawa County Sheriff is arrested and indicted for embezzlement and perjury. I'm Zach Dodge with What Happens Now, coming up.
Friends and family of a Crawford County farmer come together to pay their respects in a unique way. I'm Kate Kelly with that story just ahead.
A developer hoping to save the Olivia building says they've been denied tax credits, which would have made that possible. I'm Chris Warner with what's next for this historic building in downtown.
Doug Getty's weather tonight. Jacob Leonard has sports. This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jordan Albee. The Ottawa County, Oklahoma Sheriff has been indicted for embezzlement and perjury. KOAM's Zach Dodge has details and what happens now.
Jeremy Floyd first became the sheriff of Ottawa County in 2017 and has had struggles for a number of years, mainly with the department's budget.
He knew it was over his head and he seemed to be responsive in the beginning. But then we noticed that we wasn't getting the cooperation after a while. So that started raising some flags.
But now he's being held at the jail he's overseen for nearly 4 years. Floyd was arrested by the Miami Police Department on Friday morning at his home in Miami after being indicted by a multi-county grand jury for embezzlement and perjury.
Well, it's been a long time coming.
According to court records, the embezzlement charge comes from March 2018, when he used more than $1,100 in county funds to buy a plane ticket for his wife, one of the many things that was revealed in a state investigative audit that was released in June.
We knew we had problems at least 2 years ago. And of course, that's why we ordered the investigative audit. And then of course, that took a long time, longer than we anticipated.
The perjury accusation is tied to his recent bid for re-election. The indictment alleges he lied when he swore under oath that he had not been under probation for embezzlement in the past. Commissioner Russell Earls says Under Sheriff Dan Cook is currently serving as interim sheriff, but he would like to get Sheriff-elect David Dean into the position since there's only around 2 weeks left in Floyd's term.
I'm glad that it's almost behind us. It's been a long 3 years. So at this time, we'd just like to see Jeremy tender his resignation so that we could move on.
Now that Floyd has been indicted, the trial is set to happen in Ottawa County District Court. In Ottawa County, Zach Dodge, KOAM News.
Sheriff-elect David Dean will be taking office on January 1st. Earls says he will be sworn in a few days after that. Floyd is facing up to 5 years for perjury and up to 2 years for embezzlement. Sheriff Floyd has had a few conflicts with county commissioners, largely over his office's budget. In December of 2019, the commissioners decided Floyd would be held personally responsible for any overages in his budget by sending him a bill for the difference. At the time, Floyd said the county was being too restrictive after cutting his budget by $400,000 from 2018 to 2019. Well, saying goodbye to a loved one is never easy, especially during these times when so many funeral services are being altered by this pandemic, COVID-19. KOAM's Kate Kelly shares how a Crawford County, Kansas family found a safe way to bring the community in on a fitting farewell for a well-respected Brazelton, Kansas farmer.
Michael E. Vietz was a man his daughter describes as kind and fair, a dedicated farmer in Brazelton, Kansas. One thing he loved was tractors, and that's why dozens of them appeared along the route to his final resting place.
Seeing all the equipment today lined up, especially the John Deere tractors and combines, that just would have made him smile even bigger to know that everybody was there for him.
This combine holds special significance for Mike's longtime neighbor and friend, Jack Beasley. He bought it from him a while back, but made sure it was in attendance as the procession moved past.
He loved green, and he loved John Deere, so it's just a special thing to do. Love to do it.
Mike died on December 13th at the age of 67 after a long battle with vascular dementia. His friends, family, and neighbors say they'll always remember him with a smile.
Just a special guy. You know, we'd visit. I'd be up feeding in the evening, and he'd come out and we'd visit for a half hour or so just about what's going on, you know, about cattle and farming. So what farmers do.
Mike loved to go for long drives across the countryside, probably passing by the same spots where pieces of farm equipment proudly stood in his honor. It's a simple yet powerful gesture for this tight-knit farming community.
Neighbors in small town America just love each other.
Based on what happened today, I think we felt like the community really showed us how much of a great man he was, even beyond what we already knew.
In Crawford County, Kate Kelly, KOAM News.
Mike is survived by his wife, 6 children, and 10 grandchildren, all of them thankful for the loving display they witnessed in Girard, Kansas today. A developer from St. Louis had hopes of redeveloping the Olivia building in downtown Joplin, but now those plans can't move forward. KOAM's Chris Warner explains why and what could be next for the future of this building.
The Bywater Development Group out of St. Louis was hopeful they would be approved for housing tax credits from the Missouri Housing Development Commission to redevelop the Olivia. Despite the fire on December 7th, the building was deemed structurally sound, which meant their plans could proceed. However, Bywater was informed this week by the MHDC their application was denied. In a statement sent to KOAM, Bywater says they, quote, greatly regret having to share this bad news with the Joplin community. We sincerely wish the MHDC outcome could have been different. We cannot adequately express our appreciation for the remarkable display of community-wide concern, effort, support, and desire to see a new future for the Olivia building. We thank all of you for your partnership and wish everyone the absolute best in your ongoing efforts with the Olivia building and your many other efforts to improve and grow your community.
Disappointment is one word to use to describe it. As always, whenever you think something's going to happen and then it doesn't, it's extremely disappointing, especially because it will take the right project to make the Olivia happen.
That's left the future of the Olivia in question, but Jill Sullivan is hopeful someone will step up.
I think there are many people who are interested in what happens with the building, so it's just a matter of everyone who has that interest in the building, whether it be a group, an individual, an organization, come together and have that conversation about what exactly the next steps are.
She knows time is limited to save the building, and there's something that has to be addressed right away.
Well, the roof, I think, is the number one thing that needs to happen. And as far as, I'm sure there are other things that would need to happen as well, but that is the one crucial thing that needs to happen to prevent further damage in the meantime.
In Joplin, Chris Warner, KOAM News.
Now, the tax credits that were offered are offered annually. Bywater says they could apply again next year, but they're afraid the building won't survive that long. The Oklahoma State Board of Education has suspended the state's school report cards. The board voted to suspend report cards because of significant disruptions in instruction because of this pandemic. Students will still have to take federally required tests during the spring. Can't get out of everything. KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14 takes this time to honor one of our 4 state heroes. Gilbert Bauer served in the U.S. Army from 1942 to 1944. Native of Columbus, Kansas, Bauer was stationed in Trinidad and Africa. He was also chosen to stand honor guard for President Roosevelt when he was lying in state. We are proud to thank Gilbert Bauer. He's tonight's 4-state hero. Doug is on deck with a complete look at the forecast in a bit later. 1 week after a traumatic throat injury, a Chetopa, Kansas senior aims to return to the basketball courts. Going to have this amazing story in sports.
Well, of course, it turned out to be a pretty good Friday for us. Today, we did have really sunny skies, those clouds increasing during the afternoon hours, and our temperature is pretty good as we went into the mid, some areas, upper 50s for highs. Great shot, Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, of course, just outside of Seneca, Missouri. All right, as we look through the next few days, we are going to get a few showers tonight. This is mainly on the Missouri side or along and south of I-44. The weekend in general looks pretty good. We're going to warm up early next week, and then we have a brief Arctic front that is going to roll in on Wednesday, so that's going to cool us down as we head into Christmas. Of course, you can always get my long-range forecast on my month-long blog. That is KOAMnewsnow.com. But look at the winds. You can see that little wind shift line out in our northwestern counties, in Neodesha, Chanute, Iola. That's where our front is. Well, of course, it turned out to be a pretty good Friday for us. Today, we did have really sunny skies, those clouds increasing during the afternoon hours, and our temperature is pretty good as we went into the mid, some areas upper 50s for highs. Great shot, Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, of course, just outside of Seneca, Missouri. All right, as we look through the next few days, we are going to get a few showers tonight. This is mainly on the Missouri side or along and south of I-44. The weekend in general looks pretty good. We're going to warm up early next week, and then we have a brief Arctic front that is going to roll in on Wednesday, so that's going to cool us down as we head into Christmas. Of course, you can always get my long-range forecast on my month-long blog. That is KOAMnewsnow.com. But look at the winds. You can see that little wind shift line out in our northwestern counties, in Neodesha, Chanute, Iola. That's where our front is lining up. It's not an extremely strong cold front, but it is strong enough that it will cool our temperatures down just a bit by the time we head into the next day or so. The winds, super strong for us today. At least they are diminishing a bit. We saw these south winds at about 10 to 20 miles per hour. So it's going to stay breezy until that front works through. 49 is where we stand. South winds at about 10 to 15. Humidity is at 50%. And we've had the clouds all day long for us today, thickening up. Not a lot underneath the clouds. This very weak storm system is just pushing on through pretty quick, but you saw where the front is in our northwestern counties, and as that front slides south and east, we'll get a few random showers popping up along the front. And you can see a few out across eastern Missouri, central Missouri, and then a couple little dots through the four-state area, but not a big deal, just some random showers for us tonight. Here's midnight. You can see these light showers pushing through, and then these random light showers stick around 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and then most of these are going to be gone, and then we look pretty good as we work into the daytime hours tomorrow. So let's break down Saturday for you. Here's your day planner. We'll start with clouds, maybe even a random sprinkle or two. 36. We're going to warm through the 30s into the mid 40s by noon, about 43, and then a high temp of 47. So it is going to be cooler than what we have seen, at least over the past 2 days, but still 47, not that bad, with partly sunny skies as we work into the afternoon hours. Let's go down the road into Christmas week. Sunday looks pretty good, near 50 for a high. Monday, we go pushing 60 into the mid-60s by Tuesday. Then a strong cold front rolls in on Wednesday. This will give us some showers, may even give us a few flakes of snow on the backside, not enough to give us a white Christmas, at least at this point in time. But the bigger story with it is it brings in much colder air for Thursday and then into Friday, which is Christmas Day. So we may not have a white Christmas, but we'll definitely have a chilly Christmas. 47 for us tomorrow. Let's go 50 on Sunday, 58 Monday, 65 on Tuesday, and then dropping temperatures with a few showers by Wednesday. Jordan?
All right, Doug, thanks so much. Our annual Fox 14 Feed the Four States is underway. Each year, we ask you to donate non-perishable food items or money to buy food for area food banks. These donations are especially important this year during this pandemic for obvious reasons. You can make food donations at any Wesco home furnishing store or directly at a food bank, and you can make a financial donation next Monday, which is the 21st, December 21st, okay, during our Feed the Four States telethon starting at 9 right here on Fox 14. Or you can donate through our website anytime, any day. Again, KOAMnewsnow.com. Coming up, more help in the fight against COVID-19.
A second COVID vaccine could soon be on its way to states, helping to bolster a nationwide rollout. I'm Lauren Blanchard in Washington. That story coming up.
The Joplin Health Department is reporting 4 more coronavirus-related deaths. Officials say one patient was a 75-year-old man. The other 3 patients, an 82-year-old man, a 95-year-old woman, and a 96-year-old woman, were all residents of a long-term care facility. This brings Joplin's total COVID-19 deaths to 86. The FDA approves Moderna's COVID-19 vaccine for emergency use, giving the United States 2 vaccines in the fight against the coronavirus. This, as lawmakers in Washington are getting vaccinated publicly, hoping that the public display of confidence will ease any fears Americans might have. Fox News correspondent Lauren Blanchard has the latest now from D.C.
The FDA is on the verge of approving Moderna's vaccine for distribution. An emergency use authorization would help bolster supply during a nationwide rollout of vaccines. Vice President Mike Pence, the Second Lady, and the Surgeon General were all vaccinated with the Pfizer vaccine Friday morning. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Senate Leader Mitch McConnell also received the vaccine Friday afternoon. And President-elect Joe Biden and Dr. Jill Biden will get their shots early next week. Dr. Fauci hopes it will reassure Americans who are wary about the process.
It's just something we want to be symbolic, to tell the rest of the country the time is now to step to the plate.
The first round of shipments has largely gone to healthcare workers and nursing homes, but states differ on who should be prioritized next. The CDC has emphasized the importance of vaccinating essential workers and those who can't work from home. As many as 87 million Americans could potentially fall into that category. In Arizona, a drive-through event this week provided immunizations for first responders.
Every house we go into, every call we go on, there's potential exposure. Many times the patients are not even aware that they have COVID at this time. They've gotten sick, so they call us.
But there's also an urgent need among Americans 65 and older and those with underlying medical conditions, as those groups have had the highest mortality rates. For the general public, a vaccine is still likely a few months away, which is why health experts are emphasizing the importance of keeping up precautions until you can get one. In Washington, Lauren Blanchard, Fox News.
Again, Moderna's vaccine was approved for emergency use by the Food and Drug Administration. Coming up, a look at the rush of voter registrations in Georgia ahead of the runoff elections there. More than 1.1 million people in Georgia have already voted in next month's Senate runoff elections that are going to determine the balance of power in that chamber. Supporters of one of candidates were treated to some star power today. Fox News correspondent Jonathan Seary reports tonight from Georgia.
What a beautiful day for a rally like this, for freedom! Ah!
Country singer Travis Tritt headlined an afternoon rally for Georgia Senator Kelly Loeffler.
We know that if we vote, we will win. If we don't vote, we won't just lose, we will lose the country.
Today's rally caps a week of visits from prominent Republicans, making the case for re-electing Loeffler and fellow Georgia Senator David Perdue as a firewall against Democrats taking control of the U.S. Senate. Early voting is now in its 5th day. According to an updated voter registration list obtained by the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, nearly 76,000 new voters have registered between the deadlines for the November general election and the January 5th Senate runoffs. The AJC reports they're overwhelmingly young, with 56% of them under 35 years old. Some are new Georgia residents, others just turned 18. None has a voting record in the state. Although the rate of new registrations is consistent with other 2-month periods since 2018, the influx of voters under 35 could help Democrats Raphael Warnock and Jon Ossoff in a state Joe Biden won by just over 12,000 votes. State officials continue to maintain there is no evidence of wide-scale voter fraud as they try to allay skepticism among many voters heading back to the polls. Governor Brian Kemp says the level of misinformation about Georgia elections on social media has gotten ridiculous.
I mean, this needs to stop. People need to deal with facts, and we'll give them to them.
Kemp, a Republican, says he's optimistic Senators Loeffler and Perdue will win re-election. But with poll margins razor thin, all 4 campaigns are unlikely to get much rest during the holidays. In Smyrna, Georgia, Jonathan Seary, Fox News.
Someday, a Missouri dad will explain what happened to his kids' elves on the shelf. Until then, it'll be a secret, a strong secret that's just between us and thousands of other people. More on this when we come back. Check out this Friday video bound to make everyone smile. This baby rhino over at the Cincinnati Zoo. This is Alonji Joe. You can see he's having the time of his life in the rain, sliding in the mud. Hey, we've all thought about doing it, right? Poor guy even slips a few times, but nothing is keeping him down. Gets right back up. According to the Cincinnati Zoo, mud protects rhinos' skin from the sun and insects. Look at him! Look at him! Oh, that's awesome. Having fun. Fun never hurts, right? All right. It's an easy mistake to make, at least for husbands. You hide your children's elves on the shelves in the oven. You probably see where this story is going. Matt Hightower, who lives in Overland Park, Kansas, hid the elves in the oven after they spent the previous night in the refrigerator. Matt woke up the next morning, not remembering where the elves were, turned on the oven, and this was the result. Poor three guys. He called his wife Chelsea with the tragic news. Now Chelsea jumped into action to replace the elves, but an important note here is difficult. The original dolls had different eye colors and other distinct features, so each of the Hightower's three children would know which elf was theirs. Chelsea drove around for 4 hours, visiting at least 6 stores, and was able to get 3 new elves. Happy ending there, and I'll say it again, it's an easy mistake to make for husbands, for the dudes. Yeah, I admitted it. 30 more minutes, news, weather, and sports coming your way.
The Pittsburgh Police Department has some civilian partners working to make sure 4 state families have a Merry Christmas. You'll meet them coming up.
Plus, how people are helping out a business owner after his trailer was stolen. Going to see how a group in Neosho, Missouri is honoring our nation's bravest men and women.
Congress is preparing to work through the weekend to pass another coronavirus relief deal. I'm Ray Bogan with what last-minute unexpected snag is holding them up. Next.
A spokesperson for Kansas Governor Laura Kelly says she is seeking a second term. Kelly became governor of Kansas back in 2018 after defeating Chris Kobach in the general election. The spokesperson said Governor Kelly is focused on the pandemic and the state's economic recovery, but said, quote, "Of course she is running for re-election." Pittsburgh, Kansas Police Department has some civilian partners who spent today making sure 4 state families in need have a Merry Christmas. But as KOAM's Mike Mahoney learned, the assistance they are providing is not limited to the holiday season.
We're still a week away from Christmas morning, but holiday magic was in the air as Pittsburgh Police Department's family response advocates visited this Girard, Kansas family.
It makes me really happy that this program has been able to help me because, I mean, it's for the kids, it's what counts. For my kids to be happy.
Taylor Jamison is a mom who's been having trouble finding work due to the coronavirus pandemic. But on Friday, she was able to put those worries aside and watch as her son and daughter opened a variety of gifts.
It's my kids smiling and, you know, I mean, you heard Braxton, ooh, you know, it just makes me happy seeing my kids being able to be happy.
You got a big one, don't you?
The Pittsburgh Police Department's Family Resource Advocate program comes from a partnership between the Family Resource Center and the City of Pittsburgh. They're committed to helping families in need throughout Crawford County and don't limit themselves to the holiday season.
It could be pay a water bill. It could be help them hang curtains. It could be buy a pair of shoes for the kids for school. Just whatever needs to be done.
Family response advocates Diane Gamble and Reva Meadows say the pandemic has made things even tougher on 4 state families in need this year. But they also note that the Crawford County community has really stepped up. Thanks to the community's donations, the Family Resource Advocate program was able to give gifts and Christmas stockings to 55 Crawford County kids this year. In Crawford County, Kansas, Mike Mahoney, KOAM News.
If you'd like to donate to the Family Resource Advocate program or enroll your family, just give the Pittsburgh PD a call and ask for a Family Response Advocate. A Joplin mechanic whose mission is to give back to his community is getting some of that energy in return. Joplin's Higher Power Garage helps low-income people with low-cost car repairs. Well, someone recently stole a car hauler trailer from the business. That's when community members stepped up to provide the garage with a new trailer. Mike Gideon, the man who operates the garage, was really impressed with how his neighbors rallied around him in a time of need.
Watching my dad do the things that he does and the people he's helped and expects nothing in return. And just everybody, when they heard the bad news, stepped up and said, what can we do to help?
24 people and organizations raised the funds for the trailer. Good story right there, right? Group in Neosho, Missouri today honored our nation's heroes. The Neosho Exchange Club hosted the Patriots Memorial event where they placed a wreath of remembrance to honor our nation's veterans and fallen heroes.
This actually is our first year being involved with it, and it is something that we plan to expand on next year.
This event is part of a nationwide movement called Wreaths across America to place memorial wreaths at 2,100 locations across the United States. Today at Chaos Brewing in Joplin, buying a piece of art could help inspire, I love Baby Yoda, could help inspire the next generation of artists. The brewery and Flatline Inc. tonight hosted an art auction. The Proceeds are going to buy art supplies for children in need over at Children's Haven and the Lafayette House.
Kids really start to come alive whenever they've got art supplies. You know, it really helps them learn how to draw and trace. It helps them, you know, with educational purposes, like whenever they're learning their alphabet.
The art auction lasts until 10 tonight. Only 1 week remains until Christmas Day, but lawmakers are still in D.C., where they say they will stay until another coronavirus relief bill is passed. Fox News correspondent Ray Bogan has the latest on where those talks stand.
Keep tonight free, tomorrow free, Sunday free.
They're close, but not there. Members of Congress on the 1 yard line of relief negotiations just hit a last-minute snag. Republican Senator Pat Toomey tried to limit the Federal Reserve's ability to extend lending programs. Democrats say that will hamstring the Biden administration's efforts to get the economy back on track when they take office.
There's dozens of little points of disagreement that have arisen in recent days. Yes, we should be able to negotiate some resolution here.
The Democrats seem to keep moving the goalposts.
The clock is ticking for Congress to act. At midnight, the federal government will shut down if lawmakers don't pass a new spending bill. Party leaders on both sides of the aisle hope to combine the spending package and the $900 billion relief deal.
The Senate will be right here until an agreement is passed, whenever that may be.
The latest version of the relief bill extends boosted unemployment benefits and provides billions for vaccine development and distribution. Senators Josh Hawley and Bernie Sanders are also continuing their effort to provide Americans with another $1,200 direct payment.
I will keep working with whomever it takes, for however long it takes, until we get the working people of this country relief.
The latest relief proposal is still missing some big-ticket items, including liability protections and funding for state and local governments. Both sides say they'll come back to that during the Biden administration. Ray Bogan, Fox News.
The House Appropriations Committee did file a 2-day stopgap bill that funds the government through Sunday night. Well, Doug will be back with another check of the weather after this break.
Well, of course, it turned out to be a pretty good Friday for us. Today, we did have really sunny skies, those clouds increasing during the afternoon hours, and our temperature is pretty good as we went into the mid, some areas, upper 50s for highs. Great shot, Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, of course, just outside of Seneca, Missouri. All right, as we look through the next few days, we are going to get a few showers tonight. This is mainly on the Missouri side or along and south of I-44. The weekend in general looks pretty good. We're going to warm up early next week, and then we have a brief Arctic front that is going to roll in on Wednesday, so that's going to cool us down as we head into Christmas. Of course, you can always get my long-range forecast on my month-long blog. That is KOAMnewsnow.com. But look at the winds. You can see that little wind shift line out in our northwestern counties, in Neodesha, Chanute, Iola. That's where our front is lining up. It's not an extremely strong cold front, but it is strong enough that it will cool our temperatures down just a bit by the time we head into the next day or so. The winds, super strong for us today. At least they are diminishing a bit. We saw these south winds at about 10 to 20 miles per hour. So it's going to stay breezy until that front works through. 49 is where we stand. South winds at about 10 to 15. Humidity is at 50%. And we've had the clouds all day long for us today, thickening up. Not a lot underneath the clouds. This very weak storm system is just pushing on through pretty quick, but you saw where the front is in our northwestern counties, and as that front slides south and east, we'll get a few random showers popping up along the front. And you can see a few out across eastern Missouri, central Missouri, and then a couple little dots through the four-state area, but not a big deal, just some random showers for us tonight. Here's midnight. You can see these light showers pushing through, and then these random light showers stick around 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and then most of these are going to be gone, and then we look pretty good as we work into the daytime hours tomorrow. So let's break down Saturday for you. Here's your day planner. We'll start with clouds, maybe even a random sprinkle or two. 36. We're going to warm through the 30s into the mid 40s by noon, about 43, and then a high temp of 47. So it is going to be cooler than what we have seen, at least over the past 2 days, but still 47, not that bad, with partly sunny skies as we work into the afternoon hours. Let's go down the road into Christmas week. Sunday looks pretty good, near 50 for a high. Monday, we go pushing 60 into the mid 60s by Tuesday. Then a strong cold front rolls in on Wednesday. This will give us some showers, may even give us a few flakes of snow on the backside, not enough to give us a white Christmas, at least at this point in time. But the bigger story with it is it brings in much colder air for Thursday and then into Friday, which is Christmas Day. So we may not have a white Christmas, but we'll definitely have a chilly Christmas. 47 for us tomorrow. Let's go 50 on Sunday, 58 Monday, 65 on Tuesday, and then dropping temperatures with a few showers by Wednesday. Jordan?
All right, Doug, thank you again. Coming up in sports, the Chitopa senior basketball player is already talking about a comeback 1 week after a traumatic throat injury. We're going to hear from Kaiden Dugan on his road to recovery next.
A local high school basketball player is already talking about a comeback just 1 week after a traumatic throat and neck injury left him unable to breathe on his own. We caught up with Chitopa's Kaiden Dugan as he aims to return to the floor and finish his senior season. Kaiden Dugan is on the road to recovery.
Feeling better. Every day I've been getting better. When this happened, we were pretty much expecting the worst out of it.
The Chitopa senior suffered a throat and neck injury in the team's game last Friday, an injury that left him unable to breathe on his own.
My heart fell to the bottom of my feet, and nothing like seeing your son struggling to get air. So it was terrifying, very terrifying.
The injury happened when Dugan dove into the bleachers trying to save a ball from going out of bounds.
It's just how I am. Sports is a great passion of mine. I always want to go out there and give it my all.
He's a go-getter, and he plays 110% all the way to the end. And and I love it. That's what I love about him in his sports.
He sets the example for the rest of the ball club. And by him, continually to hustle, continually to put out 110%, that pushes the people around him.
After 3 days on a ventilator and surgery on Sunday, he was finally able to breathe on his own.
You just can't explain it. It's just, it was overwhelming, happy tears, lots of happy tears.
For now, he's supposed to take it easy as he recovers.
It's pretty hard because I'm always out running around with my friends and all that.
He's like totally grounded to the house. He can't go anywhere, no horse playing, and he has to be really careful about moving his head around and just basically he needs to rest.
If he does that and recovery goes well, Dugan could be cleared to return to practice in January.
We're looking forward to getting him back out there, but I would be lying if I said it wouldn't bother me at all. But it will be a little tense for a while till we can settle everybody down. I'm looking forward to it greatly. I'm ready to get back out there already.
He's a senior, so I would love to see him. It's just going to be a little terrifying at first, but yeah, I'm ready.
Dugan is expected to make a full recovery. There will be fundraisers beginning next week to help offset the cost from medical bills from Dugan's injury, including a bank account set up at the Commerce Bank in Chitopa and a t-shirt fundraiser. The Kansas City Chiefs hit the road this weekend for a showdown with the New Orleans Saints. Like every Friday night, right now it's time to hear from the voice of the Chiefs, Mitch Holthus, in this week's Minute with Mitch.
Fans always want their defense to sack the quarterback, but I've learned the most damaging play for the enemy quarterback is a batted or changed pass at or near the line of scrimmage. One could argue the Chiefs won Super Bowl 54 because of it, with KC's defensive front deflecting, knocking down, or altering 7 of San Francisco's last 10 passes. Pittsburgh's first loss this year was a batted pass that was intercepted. Denver's defensive line deflected 3 of Patrick Mahomes' passes back on December the 6th. It's not just an incompletion or interception. it usually wipes out a big passing play, thus messing with the psyche of the quarterback or the mood of the opposing play caller who knew they had the right play called. This week, count how many Saints passes the Chiefs can bat down with their defensive front. It just might decide the game on this Minute with Mitch. The Minute with Mitch is brought to you by Como Jewelry. Every day's game day, Como Jewelry, Pittsburgh, Joplin.
Sunday's game will kick off at 3:25 p.m. on our sister station, KOAM. That's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
Joe Biden defending his son during inquiries about his business dealings with foreigners. Meanwhile, the transition team is getting an unexpected break in the transition process. Fox News correspondent Peter Ducey has the latest from Wilmington, Delaware.
Biden national security officials hoping to get a lay of the land at the Pentagon had transition meetings called off. The acting Secretary of Defense says the DoD is just busy in other meetings focused on things like the continuing resolution and the quote, after the mutually agreed upon holiday pause, which begins tomorrow, we will continue with the transition and rescheduled meetings from today. The Biden team says that's not what happened.
There was no mutually agreed upon holiday break.
The federal investigation into Hunter Biden's tax affairs may stretch from the transition into Biden's term, but the president-elect insists he'll try to work with Republicans when asked about the ones who may use that investigation as a cudgel against him.
We have great confidence in our son. I am not concerned about any accusations been made against him. It's used to get to me. I think it's kind of foul play, but look, it is what it is, and he's a grown man. He is the smartest man I know. I mean, in pure intellectual capacity, and as long as he's good, we're good.
On Monday, Biden will get his first dose of a COVID-19 vaccine.
Consistent with security and medical protocols, the vice president-elect will not receive the vaccine at the same time as the president.
That's to eliminate the possibility of Biden and Harris feeling side effects at the same time, according to Politico.
But what was their reasoning for that recommendation?
That they should not do doses at the same time. I'm not going to go into more details than that.
The Biden family Christmas celebration will be slimmed down in Delaware, but the future first family is trying to keep some traditions going.
And then the tinsel, I mean, he's like so particular,
One
like strand at a time.
You can't
See?
throw it on there.
Zero questions about Hunter Biden at the Transitions Weekly Zoom briefing. They only called on 5 reporters, which had some others filling up the Zoom chat box at the end, pleading with the Biden team to take more. But they didn't. And Fox has still never been called on at any of these weekly transition briefings. In Wilmington, Delaware, Peter Ducey, Fox News.
When we come back and hear from Gal Gadot on what her Wonder Woman character represents and how it's inspiring people. Almost time for Wonder Woman 1984 to make its highly anticipated debut in theaters and at home. We spoke with Wonder Woman herself about the new film, the impact of the superhero, and more. Here's Fox's Ashley Dvorkin.
Welcome to the future.
Wonder Woman 1984 brings a superhero sequel set in a new time with new foes and shows another side of Diana Prince.
In the first one, we got to experience the birth of a hero, Diana Prince discovering her powers and becoming Wonder Woman. Now, when you meet her, she's no longer the wide-eyed. She's been around, she understands everything. She's wiser, she's more mature, but also she shares the same perspective and the same problems and issues that mankind do.
That was pretty good. Part 2 Reunite star Gal Gadot with director Patty Jenkins, an on and off screen bond key to shaping this character.
We always have this ping pong of throwing thoughts to each other and like that. And she's an integral part of Wonder Woman for me.
And the film once again brings a message of hope. Just one reason Gal feels Wonder Woman resonates so much.
Everything about Wonder Woman I super believe in. She's all about love and peace and hope and compassion and empathy and bringing people together.
It's a character that people interpret for themselves, what Wonder Woman means to them. What has it been like for you to see that, and how has seeing that inspired you?
It's a good question. It's amazing because, first of all, I'm forever grateful that I got to be the one to portray this iconic character that means so much for so many people all around the world. And the fact that I'm getting the feedback for all of that and I'm getting to be her means the world, and I never take it for granted.
Wonder Woman 1984 debuts in theaters and on HBO Max Christmas Day. Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
And that's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. Going to leave you with Christmas lights from Fort Scott, Kansas. Have a great, safe weekend. Do this all again tomorrow. See you then.